Welcome into the OBR streaming network. We are live with things I think I know about the Browns. My name is Brad Ward. Good to see you guys here with us. Chef Matt, what's up? Anybody else filing in? If you're watching on Twitter, hop on over to YouTube, Orange and Brown Report /YouTube.com. Hit subscribe, tap that like button, make sure it's working, give it some love. Help us out. Make sure they know we're not messing around over here anymore. So what's going on? Yeah. Yep, Chef, I saw the same thing you're talking about. And there's lots to discuss today. So day 3 in the books of camp. Let's take care of some news and notes first. To start off with, what's up, DeAndre? Good to see you here, man. Mason Graham is going to change things. Okay. Yeah, so I saw G. Bush's video last night proclaiming that there is no quarterback competition. Now, he was complaining in a light of like that Shador's not getting a fair shake. I'm going to talk about it tonight that I think that I don't know if they intended to have a competition, but I think it's pretty much over already. Like before it started. And we'll talk a little bit about that tonight. But first, Browns bad news today. Couple bad news. The main thing to keep the main thing here is that Jordan Hicks has decided to retire. Which not great. This is a guy that knows the scheme. Valuable player, valuable leader, a voice on that side of the ball. So I wonder, they had to have an inkling of this, right? This doesn't just come out of nowhere. I think he was probably thinking about it. This makes the Schlesinger pick even more critical. What if you wouldn't had taken Schlesinger at that high? You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, Chef. Thank God that they drafted him there. So I think from everything that I can gather, like they're not going to mess around anymore. Like I had envisioned a world where Hicks is the green dot. He's your middle linebacker, and Schlesinger gets eased into the pro game as your will this year. And I think that's gone. I think that Schlesinger is going to get thrown right into the fire. I think they're going to slap that green dot on his helmet, and they're going to ask him to be the voice on the defense and call plays and be a leader right away. Yeah. It never seems like they do. You're right, Serge. Yeah, so, but I think that's what happens by indications today. It seemed like Schlesinger, I think, was the green dot, and I think he'll be your middle linebacker. Now, what do you have around him now at this point? Without JOK, without Hicks, your two best players in that position room. You have Devin Bush, you have Mohamed Diabate, and you have Jerome Baker, who you brought in as a free agent. Baker's a fine Will. Bush is fine. He played well last year at times. Winston Reed is I mean, he's a great guy to have on your 53 if you can have him. I don't know. He's not certainly not an everyday linebacker, but if you need to be in base, you can put Winston Reed out there, I suppose. Bookie Watson, I haven't heard anything about that. I don't know. It's a great question. I don't believe Bush will miss games. I think we would have heard something by now. I don't believe so. That he will miss any games. I just think that we would have heard more at this point if he was going to miss some time. Maybe the league will surprise us with that, but I don't think so. Could they add a body to this room? Like they also have a after Winston Reed and Bookie Watson, who are your bigger linebackers in this room. You have a UDFA named Easton Mascarenhas Arnold, who Jason Tarver was talking about the other day. The good thing is that Jason Tarver seems to take no matter what you give him and provide you with tremendous to at least adequate linebacker play. So yeah, Pat, I mean, you make a good point. Ideally, it's not that way. Yeah, that's kind of messed up. Yeah, listen, is this a blow? Yes. Yeah, they don't the cut downs are just all at once now. Now they will do a favor to somebody that can catch on someplace else and cut them early to give them an opportunity if like the organization wants to be nice to them and give them a chance to catch on with another team. Sometimes they can cut down anytime they want. But it's not a structured like 90 to 70 to 70, like it used to be. There was like 3 separate cuts. It's just all at once now. 1,000 plus players become available. All right, then the waivers process plays out. The Browns have the second waiver wire priority, which is good for them. Maybe they can attain. I mean, I'm not to. I haven't given up on the idea that 3 players not in this camp end up on this final 53. I would put the over under at like 2.5 or 3.5, and probably with Hicks gone, maybe even 3.5 now. But yeah, I don't think that. I think the one thing here that is a positive that you can lean into with the linebacker room is that Jason Tarver is an excellent linebackers coach, and he's shown that every year. So he will take what's given him regardless and provide you at least adequate play. The linebackers in this defense are not the point of emphasis, but to your guys' point earlier in the chat, thank goodness they did take Schlesinger. I think he can be a really good player. But without him, they would be in a bad spot right now. But with him, yeah, I think that he is, going to be the guy, the green dot. And hopefully, to your point, Pat, that it's changed. Ideally, you don't want it to be changing. You want it to be the same guy all the time. You want it to be a guy that's on the field every play. And I think that eliminates some of the maybe confusion. Yeah, before, with the secondary and stuff that goes on defense that we've seen in past years. Over under on Barry making trades, 1.5 trades before the season starts. Yeah, so I guess I included that in the 3.5. So if I made it 3.5 over under on players not on this roster that end up on this roster, yeah, I think I would put trades at a half. I don't know if he makes 2 trades, but I think that we could see him like flip a late round draft pick for a guy that's going to get cut and not have to use your waiver claim, or if it's a veteran, not have to go out and battle with other teams for his free agency services. I'm sure they have their eyes on, like, I think they can improve the bottom of this roster at a couple different positions. One would be now linebacker, potentially, maybe add some depth there. I think you could talk about what are my thoughts on the Raiders cutting Wilkins. I'm It's shocking. They gave him that massive contract, and I would not be interested. I think the Browns are actually potentially have one of the best defensive fronts in football. At least the potential to be like really, really good, at least on the interior, and to be determined on the outside. I don't worry about the defense as much with this team as I do the offense. But Hicks certainly is a loss, but I trust Tarver to be good enough to get these guys to play up to, yep, Mechie. Mechie's my guy too, Serge. I'm with you there. I would trade for now for Mechie in that wide receiver. So wide receiver room, yeah, Diabate is a good player, and I think that Baker is a good enough player. Listen, you're not going to play many snaps on defense, hardly any snaps at all, um, in base, right? Like, you're just not going to have 3 linebackers on the field very often. So if you look at it that way, and it's Schlesinger and, Bush or Baker or Diabate at the will, you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine. Um, yeah, I know PFF has ranked the Browns receivers the worst in the NFL. So, that's fair because they don't have anything proven. Which brings us to today. There was a play, another concerning point before I get into my overarching theme of this video here tonight. I will be at camp tomorrow, just so you guys know. Excited to be there tomorrow morning, get my own eyeballs on everything going on. Yeah, maybe a running back. Yeah. I mean, tight end, linebacker, running back, and I guess wide receiver. Those are the ones, right? Wide receiver would be priority number 1 for me. So, yeah. Possibly possibly running back. Actually, I think you do add a running back. I just don't know if it's somebody that you trade for. I just think it'll probably be. I don't think. Let's put it this way: if the 3 running backs on the 53, if Pierre Strong is running back 3, then we have a problem, right? Like, it should be somebody from somebody else. But I think you're fine to wait on that situation, be patient, wait for cut downs, wait for guys to get freed up. We went over a potential cut list last night that included guys like Alexander Madison, Damian Pierce, Emmanuel Wilson, Cam Akers. There's gonna be there's never a shortage of running backs. Let's just say that. I think that you can find a guy that you want. Yeah, is Deontay Johnson the most important signing? I think he's very important. I think he has a chance to elevate this room. why, like, the PFF thing, I just kind of am like, yeah, that's fair. But listen, they're not going to be running a lot of 3 wide receiver stuff this year. So it's going to be a lot of 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, 12, 13 personnel, 21 personnel. I think more than it is 11. Now have your share of 11, but if you go with 11 and you're healthy and you run, Judy Tillman and Thrash, or Judy Tillman and Deontay Johnson, and he can keep it together out there. I mean, Deontay Johnson is a guy that caught 100 balls in this league in a season. He can play. Like, the reason that he has been cut is not have anything to do with his inability to produce. It's been his off the field shenanigans. So if he can keep his head on straight, be okay with playing in that third role, maybe he can overtake the second role. That would be a bad sign for Tillman. But either way, they need him. They need him right now. Now, do I think that I do think that they will add a significant player. They had a wide receiver today, Winston Wright, 5'10", 192 from ECU, a UDFA, 187 catches, 1,930 yards, 18 touchdowns. They added to the roster. So they added another wide receiver, another 5'10" wide receiver, unfortunately. But I think that if you look at, and I've kind of talked about this a lot, if you look at Green Bay, the Patriots, the Texans, the Colts a little bit, and then some other teams too, there are going to be young, talented receivers pushed out of some rooms that just have that's a strong point for them. And with the second waiver wire priority, and to Serge's point earlier, a potential to trade for a guy before they get cut if they identify them as a potential cut player. I think that those things are the way you improve the depth in that room. Yeah, the Texans, I agree. I like Mechie a lot, and I think he could potentially get pushed out. Yeah, man, I can't get over every wide receiver they bring in is under 6 foot. It's insane. Yeah, the Patriots. Yep. Running back room, wide receiver room for sure. Ian, Javon Baker and Jalen Polk are both bubble guys there. Javon Baker would be the dream for me. Really high on him coming out. Physical, athletic receiver, I think, would elevate the end of this room. So I think that they're not done there. They know they're not where they need to be there in the wide receiver room. But what you can't have is this. Cedric Tillman in the back of the end zone today getting hurt. Hoping that it's heat and it was a cramp and he's fine. I don't think it's anything serious. But not great having him leave practice. Anyway, so that happened today as well. But yeah, they definitely need to improve at wide receiver. And I think that probably tight end 3 to me. I just don't. I don't know if Bates or Whitebeard is the answer here. You know what I mean? I just don't know. And running backs, there will be a plethora to choose from, I believe. So Yeah. You're watching Things I Think I Know About the Cleveland Browns. My name is Brad. We're glad you guys could join me tonight. Go live here real quick. Sometimes this is a taped show, but I was able to do it live tonight. I wanted to talk to you guys. I'm going tomorrow morning. I'll be there bright and early at camp. So if you guys got stuff for me you want to watch for, things like that, let me know. I'll be reporting back. Uh, yeah, yeah. Olave trade, Kramer. I mean, I would love that. I just, I guess they don't really. I guess they are not going to be good. Are they finally giving in to the tank? I don't know. Thanks, Pat. Yeah, you're right, Chef. I mean, we can say this. I think it's safe to say that, like, while it hasn't been a disaster, um, it, it, the start of mini camp and through till now hasn't been great as far as news and things go, especially with Quinshawn. I'll say hi to Kenny for you. Didn't Deontay Johnson have to have helped off the field in the first practice? I don't understand your question, Jeffrey. Sorry. Um, when will the next good news we get? That's a great question. Um, will you be live on Saturday after practice? No, I won't be live. I will see. That's tough, but I will have a write up. Things I think I know after Saturday at camp, which you can read over at theobr.com for free. So that'll be there for you, James. Um, oh, Deontay. Yeah, I think he's okay. He's fine now. I know he's out there today and stuff. Um, so here's the overarching thought that I've had. You guys it was interesting that you were mentioning it when I came in or when I looked over into the chat tonight. Um, my guy G Bush had a video yesterday where he was going off about the there's no real quarterback competition here, right? Um, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, is he? I think he's wrong about the fair shake stuff. Like, it is what it is. I mean, here's today's here's today's stuff. Okay, Joe Flacco up first today in 11 on 11s. And they did a bunch, a whirl in what Fusi calls a whirlwind of 11 on 11s, with each quarterback getting about 3 to 4 plays. The rotation was this: Flacco with the ones, Pickett with the twos, Flacco with the ones, Pickett with the twos, Gabriel with the ones, Sanders with the threes. Then later, um, in 11 on 11s, driving down the field, Flacco ran the ones. Sanders ran the twos for the first time. Interesting. In front of Gabriel. Gabriel ran the threes. No Pickett in that session. So And they did some 7-on-7 red zone stuff where they did not look good and didn't get into the end zone very much. But here's where I'm at with this. Like, G. Bush is not wrong. Like, this isn't. I don't think this is a quarterback competition anymore. Personally, now I could be proven wrong, wildly wrong here, and it could be Pickett could really be their guy. Like Musgrave was talking him up. I know I heard all that, right? I should say this before I go any further. I thought the rookies and Shador especially was fantastic at the podium today. He was fantastic. Great job. He's saying all the right things. He's doing all the right things. But let's just take a pause and think about where we are at now based off mini camp and where these rookies came in and where they're at. What was the real, like, was it ever really realistic that one of those two guys was going to win this job, have enough time to win this job for week one? Not really. Not when you have two veterans in front of them on the roster. They're just at such a disadvantage. Like, this happened. People point to the when Mr. Unlimited, what's his goofy ass name? Russell Wilson did it, right? As a 4th round pick or whatever. I just don't. It's different. The game's different now. And yeah, my boy Russ, he did it. But who did he beat out? He beat out like Flynn or somebody, right? That they brought in to start that year. It just feels like this thing coming in, and you hear day one Stefanski in the presser, and he's asked about Matt Flynn. Thank you, Casey Kinnaman. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate all you guys being here. Hit that like button. Let YouTube know we don't play. We don't play around here. Like Stefanski, he answered the depth chart question. I thought he would be company line that we don't have a depth chart yet. I mean, we have an idea, whatever his answer was, but his answer was, I have an idea in pencil in my head. And after the ramp up 4 days, we'll take in that information and adjust accordingly. That to me right there told me, like, if he already has in his head a pencil depth chart and all we have seen is very limited sample size from these rookies in minicamp, there's no way they're at the top of that pencil depth chart, right? And if we're only giving this actual competition, which I don't even think really is, 4 days, and then we're going to look to adjust. His exact quote, as Casey said last night, he said, sooner the better to make a decision on quarterback. Sooner the better. That if a rookie was going to win it, it would take all of camp, right? Like, if a rookie was going to win this job, it would take all of camp. It would take them playing in the joint practices and being excellent, and it would take them balling out in the exhibition games and looking, tremendous in practice at every level. And it's just, I don't think there's time to do that. They have to get ready for week one. They have so much other stuff to do. There's just not time. He says sooner the better. He's already got a depth chart in pencil in his brain. Like, there's no way that the rookies are going to have time to win this job. And that's probably realistic. Like, was it ever really realistic that they were going to win the week one job? No. Will they play this year? Probably, yes. I think they will play this year. But I just don't think yes, great point, Pat. And you would need the vets to fall on their face bad. Like, you would need them to look bad or an injury or something like that to happen. But when he says sooner the better, like, I'm thinking there's no way they're gonna have enough time to win over this job. So that eliminates 2 guys. So that leaves Pickett and Flacco. And from by all accounts, and this is secondhand accounts, but this is also my opinion of watching Kenny Pickett. He's not a serious contender for me. He's not. And the people that I trust that are there say Flacco is clearly the best quarterback on this roster, which makes sense. This roster already has faith in him. They know who he is. He knows the offense coming in. This really wasn't a competition. To me, it's over. If they don't start Flacco week 1, then I have serious questions at this point about what they're trying to do. The players have to be thinking the same thing. His arm looks good. Zach Jackson saying it just looks different when he throws it than anybody else out there right now. I mean, he's over 40 years old, and he clearly looks like the best quarterback out there. He knows the offense. He's got a shorthand with Stefanski. I mean, was this ever really a competition? I think G. Bush may be right. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, like that it's unfair to the rookies. I just don't think there's enough time. And Pat makes the best point about that. Like it would require the guys you brought in just to be god awful. Both of them. And Flacco may be 40 plus, but he's not going to be god awful in training camp. He's just not going to be. He could go through training camp in his sleep, right? Now, he might be great. And he's probably going to only get, like we talked about this last night at length, like he's not going to start 17 games, right? But he should start the season and try to give you 6 and try to win. So, yeah, I mean, I would hope Miles is working with all those guys. And Shedeur, like I said, Shedeur has, outside of the speeding Pickett, he has been pitch perfect in Cleveland. His pressers have been perfect. He's not letting reps deter him. He answered all the questions right. I'll be ready when it's my opportunity. Everything a rookie should be saying, he is saying exactly the right things. So is Dylan, for that matter. I personally think that, in my own personal opinion, I think Sanders has a much higher ceiling. Yeah, Casey, he did a tremendous job on his presser. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, and actually Mary Kay pointed this out, but like Jerome Baker was talking to the press on the podium across, and he refused to start his presser until Baker was done out of respect for the veteran. Like, who knows to do that as a rookie? Impressive. He's an impressive young man. And I think he has a much higher ceiling than Dylan. I do. And I hope that we get a chance to see that this year at some point. But like the path forward for this team to find success is to run the football, get Flacco to give you 6 to 8 really good, the best games you can get, like not throwing the ball 50 times. Can he do that and win you a game? Yes, we've seen it before, but ideally like 35 max. because you have a good run game and you have a good defense. But at some point, then it's gonna be the rookies that have to take you home. But doing that halfway through the season after they've watched and they've absorbed, and that's how you got to bring these guys along, right? I just don't think that. I just think that this competition, this national quarterback competition, it's over before it started. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they know Flacco gives them the best chance to win. So if you start anybody else, you're going to lose the locker room. You're going to lose the locker room. You can't start your season that way after what you did last year with 4 and running him out there and telling the fan base that he gives you the best chance to win and telling your players that he gives you the best chance. You can't do that again. So while we thought this was a competition, I really don't think it ever was. There was never enough time for the rookies to win this job. And I don't think Pickett is a serious contender to start here. Maybe I'm wrong. That's the one thing I could be wrong about. Maybe they are like, I'm calling BS on all the Pickett love, but maybe they just love Pickett to death and he starts. But like, I think that you risk losing the locker room with that too. Because your team is going to look around and say, he doesn't give us the best chance to win. So, but that's where I'm at. I mean, I just think that's where I'm at. I think that this never really was much of a competition, and I think it's probably already over, in my personal opinion. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. You know what I mean? And you're still going to get to see. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait to watch the rookies in the exhibition games. They should get most of those games. Should be those two. I don't care. I don't want to see Kenny play out there. Flacco doesn't need to play in exhibition games. It should be Shadur and Dylan, and they'll get to play under the lights, and we'll get a good sample size, and we'll learn a lot about them. But yeah. Yeah, Pat, I mean, I do think that that's probably part of it, right? So yeah. And Shador, the perfect attitude about everything. And yeah. Again, Brad, they thought DTR was better than Winston at the beginning of last year. I don't think they thought that. This is where we're the smartest in the room versus eye test doesn't jive with fans. Yeah, I mean, I'll listen to that. I don't know if they ever thought DTR was better than Winston as a quarterback. I think that they wildly overvalued DTR. So I'll give you points for that, Kramer. Sure. Starting running back week 1, I mean, it'll be Ford, which is fine. This run game is more about the offensive line than anything. It just is. This offensive line, if you get DeJuan Jones playing well, and he takes to this role in his slimmer form that he looks really good and quick in, and your veterans are back to what they know how to do, what they were brought in to play. I mean, this offensive line has been together for years. They should be a good unit when all healthy. And you have Tevin. Your backups are legit this year. Lucas, Zinter, Tevin, Jenkins. I just think that this offensive line can be good enough that the run game can be good enough. And off of that, play action with Joe Flacco for 6 weeks in a good run game can score you 20 to 25, 30 points a game. And with this defense, he will be in football games. That's where I'm at. So for me, I agree. Competition was always over. I didn't realize it until this week, but we probably should have realized it sooner. That it was a stretch to think that the rookies were ever going to win this job week 1, and calling it a derby and the 2 spotting and stuff, all that. That's great that they've done that, because it increases the pace that they've played with, and it's gotten the younger guys more reps, and they will be more prepared for it in the future. And it created a sense of urgency with them to learn the playbook, you know what I mean? I think approaching it with the competition idea, like it's open, was the right thing to do, because it just brings that focus in from all involved. But I think behind closed doors, I think they knew the whole way. And maybe I'm wrong, and I could be proven wildly wrong. But this is things I think I know about the Browns. And the thing I think I know about the Browns tonight, and maybe I'll go to camp tomorrow and I'll watch something and see something and be like, well, I was wrong, and I'll admit it. But like, I don't think this was ever really. Matt McLean says for play action to work, you need a legit run game. Otherwise, quarterback running for his life. Sort of true, sort of not. It's a little bit of a misnomer that play action. Listen, it's pointless to argue over this. Play action can be effective without an effective run game. If you get linebackers to take a half a step forward, play action has been effective, right? But without an effective run game, then you're asking too much from this passing game. So you respectfully disagree. Well, do you think just because I'm saying just because I'm saying to you guys that I think that it's over, A, doesn't mean that it is, and B, to the players, do you think that they think it's a fake competition? No, they probably think it's a fair chance. So, I mean, just because I'm saying that doesn't have any impact on what they think about the competition. So, yeah, that's just kind of, I don't know. Kenny Smallhands brings to the table. Yeah. So I'll be out there tomorrow. We'll take it all in. I'll be there with Jacob. And then, be able to report back next week. And then it's me and Case we're talking about last night. I'm going on Wednesday. They should be in pads next Wednesday. So we'll be on the air Thursday night for All Eyes on Cleveland. A day after that, we can talk about what we saw then, because things should be really ramped up then. And I want to see this, because I've been admittedly been one of the people that is a little skeptical about the whole, like, this is going to be so much more physical of a camp. No, I think it's going to be a higher pace camp. And it's going to be like a better run camp and more intense. I just don't think you're going to see them like tackling the ground ever or being too physical ever. Like, I just think that the analytics tell them that health is such a premium that I don't know that they'll ever really move off of that idea. Or maybe they came in a COVID year where you couldn't touch anybody and everything was so weird, and they never got out of that, and maybe they need to snap out of it with a different kind of camp. Maybe they got too comfortable with that kind of, off season. Because then you went to the Greenbrier and you had more success. And was this, do we really know if the Greenbrier had anything to do with the success? You can't really correlate the two. But we did, you know. Keep my eyes on Jamari Thrash. I heard he looks a lot better. I will. I will be watching. I'll be watching all. I hope he looks better. The Browns need him to take a step forward. Yeah, I agree with you, Pat. I think being home in front of your own fans 8 times, yeah, I think that is. I think the Greenbrier. It probably served them well the first year, but the second year might have been too much, right? Like you just sometimes you got to keep things different, right? And you get too comfortable in an atmosphere, and I don't know. I know that last year's camp went to hell for a number of reasons, and even Stefanski and Barry talked about it. He said, "I'm saying day to day from now on." Their tackles, their injuries carried over from the year prior, from 23, further into camp than they ever imagined or evaluated. Yeah, Flacco was never at the Greenbrier. Flacco came off his couch middle of season 23. So, yeah, no Greenbrier for him. And the distractions of 4, right? Throwing with a towel and, reports that he looks amazing by one half of the media and reports that he looks like dog shit from the other half. It's just weird. Pete calls him an energy vampire, and he sucked the energy out of training camp from day one, I think. So, got to keep your guys healthy, though. Hopefully, Tillman's thing is not serious, and he'll be back. They need him this year. And while Jordan Hicks is a hit, I don't think it's a back-breaking thing. It sucks, but to your guys' point, thank God they took Schlesinger in the draft, and sometimes people get thrown into a situation like this, and with a terrific coach like Tarver, they just shine. And this might be one of those situations. So, yeah, I just I don't worry about the defense at this point. We'll see. I'm not interested in Christian Wilkins. No. Why did they cut him? Yeah, I mean, Pat, they need guys to step. Like the guys they need to step up this year are your Isaiah McGuire, Alex Wright, Emerson, Tillman, Thrash, guys that should be ready to step up. The path has been cleared for them. Time to step up. But that doesn't stop you from getting guys on the roster like a Deontay Johnson or a Javon Baker or whoever your dream guy is, to fill that role if he can't step up and step into it, or you run into injury issues. Wilkins is going to the Patriots. The Raiders didn't like how he handled his injury. Interesting. Yeah, listen, I said this before, but I think that probably the strongest room the Browns have is their interior defensive line, right? Malik Collins was made for this scheme. Mike Hall, of course, your number 5 overall draft pick, Mason Graham and Shelby Harris. Plus, you've got Jawan Briggs there too. I think they're loaded up front. Allie says she's got money on Dylan Gabriel being the starter. Wow. If I could take your money, I would, Allie. If you've been hanging around with Jacob Roach by any stretch of the imagination, because he made that bet. He took Dylan to be the starter week 1 over the field. Yeah. I explained it how I feel. I don't think it's feasible for any of the rookies to be ready week 1. And yeah. So Jacob's burner. Yeah, fumble. Nailed it there. I just think that their interior could be really good. And you have guys there like if Mike Hall gets healthy enough in time, and you can do some different things. Those guys playing games up the middle with Myles Garrett, and if Shoyinka can get into that role. This defense relies so much on the front, right? It's a front to back defense, and I think they will be good up front. I think this defense could be really good. Now corners got to play better, and Schlesinger probably needs to be really good. But I think by most accounts, he looks really good. He's bigger than all the rest of the linebackers and just as athletic. So, stop the run on the way to the QB. You nailed it, fumble. And they're asking Mason Graham to do half of what he did in college. They're saying just get upfield, disrupt. And yeah. Yes, Hicks did retire. Huge, Chef. Turnovers will be massive. And the corners have perpetually dropped way too many interceptions. So, yep, it's true. Front to back. Yeah, so there's my thoughts tonight. I'm going to get out of here. It's been an hour. Didn't even mean to spend an hour on this, but things I think I know about the Browns are that this QB competition is over before it really started. That's between me and you and us, and if anybody but Flacco, well, if Pickett starts week 1, I'm going to have an issue. I'm going to be upset. I'll root for him, and I'll hope that he was right. But thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Hit that like button. Let the algorithm know we don't play around. We are not to be messed with here. So, where's Abby? Abby has been busy, but she'll be back at some point. You guys are the best chat in all the lands. Hit like, subscribe, tell a friend, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Yeah, don't do anything stupid. Be smart. Appreciate you guys. Get over to the OBR.com. Read everything we're doing over there covering this camp. Wall to wall. All right. I will. I'll tell the players the same. Yep. Night, guys. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you next week. And read everything over at theobr.com. Become a VIP subscriber. It's worth it. It's worth every moment of it. Have a great night. My name's Brad Ward.